Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. Given what's happening in the world right now and what we see on social media with video footage, with news articles, with all sorts of things conveying to us, this is happening in the Middle East right now. I was thinking, how did we get to this point? Because when I was young growing up, I remember learning about atrocities that occurred throughout history. And the vibe was, man, it used to be really bad. People used to do crazy, evil things, and it was like unfathomable. How were people so evil? And I guess sort of within academia, it's obviously very secular in the West. So it was like, oh well, we've like evolved. We've just human beings have just evolved. We've become more humane. Ironically enough, we become more intelligent, and we would never do those sorts of crazy things nowadays, or at the very least, Americans wouldn't do it, right? Because there are these savages around the world who are so evil and stuff like that. But we would never take part in something so evil. And what this also made me think about was how Jordan Peterson, who I pay no attention to anymore, ever since he put out that message to Muslims. I don't follow him. I can't take him seriously anymore. However, apparently he still has a huge following. But it made me think of him because I remember when I did kind of follow some of his work, he would have lectures about this topic of, well, how did just normal people during World War II become these Nazis? It doesn't have to be a Nazi, it could be any sort of example of essentially somebody just really being this merciless oppressor, just killing children and innocent people. Because most people, I would presume, would think, "Oh, I would never be such an evil person. I mean, I would never, how could, like, maybe they did that. I don't know how they did that, but no, I could never do it." But from what I remember, Peterson was sort of walking you through it. And then, ironically enough, he would go on to tweet, "Give him hell, Netanyahu." Anyways, these are just sort of, thoughts going through my head, but the foundation of what I really wanted to share was human beings didn't evolve. We haven't just gotten progressively more humane and better, but human beings have always, ever since Allah created the first man, Adam alayhi salam, human beings, we've been the same essentially. And we've had the same situation. We have the potential to do good, to choose righteousness, and to therefore be from the best of creation. And we also have the potential to do bad and to do evil and to be from the worst, lowliest, wicked of creation. And that's always been the case. Throughout time, you've had righteous people, you've had evil people. And the same applies to us today. So let's look at some tweets. Let's look at what's going on in the news. Here we have Piers Morgan. He's appalled by something. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is examining a plan to seal off humanitarian aid to northern Gaza in an attempt to starve out Hamas militants, a plan that could trap hundreds of thousands of Palestinians without food or water. Now, how is this so hard to believe? This is the exact underlying tactic that has been used to kill the Palestinians for the past year. It's a very simple, easy to understand formula. Claim that you are trying to target Hamas and then kill as many innocent civilians as you want. The only difference here is that they're trying to starve them. Just a few days ago, CNN reported no food has entered northern Gaza since the start of October, putting 1 million people at risk of going hungry, the World Food Program says. And this article got a lot of criticism from people in the comments because who's keeping the food out? Well, why are they presenting it as if food is just mysteriously not showing up in Gaza? Look at these comments. Who's keeping the food out, CNN? I can't believe food did that. And who has stopped the humanitarian aid from going into northern Gaza? Why does CNN refuse to say Israel? Check out this tweet. No food has entered Gaza because Israel is using starvation as a weapon of war. Why didn't CNN mention that? Who's starving Palestinian children? Worthless excuse for journalism. Who? Can we investigate why the food has magically stopped? Could it be witchcraft? And this is what's so mind-boggling about this. The whole world, like there are so many millions of people that can see what's happening and are disgusted by it. They see the false information, the fake news, the atrocities, the oppression, the killing, the murdering, the displacement, the starvation. Yet it keeps happening. And those responsible keep insisting on doing it. And this is just what made me think about how, you know what? People today, they are no different than the sick, oppressive people throughout history. Atrocities happened in the past and people contributed to them, and it's happening today and people are contributing to it. But what does Allah tell us about past nations? They shall receive the reward of what they earned, and you of what you earn, and you will not be asked of what they used to do. So just think all those atrocities that occurred throughout history, it's over with. It's the past. It's said and done. Those people who were responsible, they're going to face the consequences in the hereafter of what they did. And one day, we are also going to be history. Future generations might look back at what we did, but it's going to be too late. It's going to be over. We will face the consequences of what we did, and those future generations aren't going to be asked about what we did. They're going to be asked about what they do. This is the situation of the human being. It has been since the first human being, and it will be until the last human being. So we ask that Allah make us of the best of creation, of those who are righteous, of those who are successful in the hereafter. And we ask that Allah save us from becoming the lowly, wicked, worst of creation. Allah knows best. Thank you for watching. JazakumAllahukhairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.